Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are Arizona.
A day of national crisis, now a moment of reflection and always remembrance. D-backs spending part of this September 11th with the Madison Street Veterans Association. Their members here with us at the ballpark tonight as we open up Marine Week. On this 9/11, the Diamondbacks continuing their homestand with a series against the rival Dodgers following the Diamondbacks series win over the Giants earlier this week. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. And good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. Back together again for the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. The first of three here, Bob, as the D-backs' final tour in 2015 through the NL West continues.
Well, and hopefully they'll do well in this final tour and move up to the upper half of the National League West as you get a look at the records this season against Western Division opponents. Of course, the Dodgers are printing money down at Chavez Ravine. The Giants win the World Series every other year. Padres reboot didn't quite go the way they had hoped, and the Rockies are in a perpetual rebuilding mode. I'd like to see the Diamondbacks creep up in the top half of that division.
Oh, they'll hand the ball tonight to the lefty Robbie Ray. He's up against the Dodgers lefty Alex Wood, whom they acquired in midseason from the Atlanta Braves, hoping to turn their luck around against the Dodgers here. Something's got to give over the last 2 years.
Boy, I'm telling you what, even a really good team like the Dodgers and a team like the Diamondbacks that's rebuilding, these numbers are way out of whack here. Obviously, the Dodgers with their strong pitching and great ERA against the Diamondbacks just haven't scored enough runs to beat this team. Got to turn that around somehow.
We have over 300 Marines with us here tonight. It's Marine Week at Chase Field. Madison Street Veterans Association got a visit from Josh Colmenter and some other Diamondbacks this afternoon. More on that coming up. Then first pitch, the D-backs and the Dodgers on Fox Sports Arizona. To you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter.
A look inside the Diamondbacks dugout as they get set for this rivalry series with the leaders of the National League West, the LA Dodgers. Jody Jackson here with you, and moments ago, just a beautiful ceremony by the Arizona Diamondbacks organization as we truly do never forget. We remember those who lost their lives on September 11th, 2001, and we also celebrate those and honor those who serve and who have served. And so with that in mind, the Diamondbacks went out into the community today. Josh Coleman and Keith Hessler making a visit to the Madison Street Veterans Association.
Today it was fun just to take part in Marine Week. A lot of Marines in town, a lot of them from Camp Pendleton, helping out a community garden, helping them put stuff in. And there's an organization that is veterans, kind of helping veterans assimilate back into society. And so part of it is just giving them a place that they can go and escape, and they go to these gardens and work on it. So we're able to go down there and mingle with them a little bit and invite them out to the game, and hopefully most of them can make it and take part in the festivities tonight.
And there is Josh along with Keith Hessler out there and really just, spreading some love, bringing some Diamondbacks gear, many of them Diamondbacks fans. Josh's younger brother is in the Marines, and they invited them to come on down. Many were able to witness batting practice here earlier today, and there are a group of the veterans from Madison Street here at the game watching the matchup. So stay tuned. First pitch is coming your way momentarily. Robbie Ray will take the hill for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He is still looking for that first win here at Chase Field. Stay tuned. Steve Berthium and Bob Brenly have the call of the game coming up next.
For a reversal of fortune against the Dodgers, who have dominated this series as of late. LA has won 9 of the last 12 meetings all this year, 31 of the last 41 dating back to July of 2013, which was about a month before the brawl at Dodger Stadium. So the D-backs hoping to turn that around starting tonight with their Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks. It's 23-year-old left-hander Robbie Ray. Tonight looking for his first win since July 7th. Here he is.
My breaking ball's come along really well. I've been able to put guys away, and earlier during the season I was getting long at bats with guys, 5, 6, 7 pitches, and I'm limiting those long at bats and being able to put guys away.
Well, Bob has had the strikeout pitch working as of late. 8 strikeouts in his last start, but he's winless his last 10 times out.
Yeah, really, Robbie's biggest enemies this year have been foul balls, pitch count, and walks. Yeah. He doesn't get hit very hard. He's only given up 1 home run in his last 5 starts, but occasionally that pitch count will get elevated by those foul balls, and occasionally he will lose the zone and put some guys on base via the base on balls.
Justin Ruggiano, who led off the Dodgers game Tuesday at Anaheim with a home run, is in there, and we are underway. 247 and 4 homers for Ruggiano. He's only played 5 games with Los Angeles this year. You see his numbers only with the Dodgers. Jim Wolf is our plate umpire. 2 balls and a strike. Ruggiano acquired from Seattle August 31st for a player to be named. And he's been a very nice pickup for LA.
And the timing very interesting as well. Got on the Dodgers roster in time to make their postseason roster should they decide to keep him.
On the last day. Well, right away, Robbie Ray has gone to a full count on the first batter of the ball game. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ruggiano. And he strikes him out. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Good start for Robbie. 1 down. Take a look at the lineup. A little different look for Don Mattingly tonight.
We've seen Justin Ruggiano. He'll be out in left field. Jose Peraza at second base. Justin Turner at third base. Adrian Gonzalez, the D-back killer, over at first. Scott Van Slyke out in right field. Corey Seager at shortstop. A.J. Ellis doing the catching. Chris Heisey out in center field. And Alex Wood, the lefty, on the mound.
There's some new names in there. You might not be familiar with some of these guys. And here is Jose Peraza. Just 17 plate appearances in 5 big league games. A 21-year-old rookie. Just called up to the big leagues for the first time last month. He's missed the last 7 games with a hamstring. Back in there tonight.
Ah, the joys of September baseball.
It's 1,000 guys in each dugout.
No Carl Crawford, no Andre Ethier, no Chase Utley, no Jock Peterson, no Jimmy Rollins, Yasmani Grandal.
They are beat up, the Dodgers. They're having some health issues. Howie Kendrick has a left hamstring strain. He's not played since August 9th. Kike Hernandez out since August 30th, also with a left hamstring. Puig hasn't played since the last week of August. He's got a right hamstring strain. They don't know if Puig's going to be back before the postseason. He's been rehabbing here in Arizona all week long.
And that hamstring has become a persistent thing for Yasiel Puig, which occasionally it can be. If you tear that muscle badly enough that scar tissue in there weakens the muscle, it's a recurring issue, especially for a guy that plays as hard as Yasiel Puig does.
So Puig, they don't know. Kendrick was here running some drills this afternoon in the outfield. They think he's close. Hernandez maybe by the end of the year. A bouncer to Chris Owings at second base. 2 up, 2 down.
Third baseman, number 10,
Justin Turner. He's another guy who's had some health issues. He had a real health scare, Justin Turner. He's at 284 and 15 homers. Last week of July, he went on the DL with a skin infection on his right leg. It was actually a very serious condition. A staph infection that can cause some dangerous situations in the bones and the bloodstream. The treatment, he said, it was brutal. He was out 2 weeks, but he's back now. And there's strike 1.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, strains and sprains and bruises, you can deal with those as a player, but when you have to look in the back of the medical dictionary to see what you've got wrong, that can be a little scary.
Yeah, they caught it before it really got into his system, but it wasn't a pleasant procedure by any stretch. He's down 0-2. He missed 2 weeks, and since he's come back in the middle of August, Turner has not been the same guy. He's batting only about 170 since he came off the DL. And he strikes out here. 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 first for Robbie Ray. Just underway in downtown Phoenix, Arizona on Marine Week here at Chase Field. of its last 16 games. LA comes in here holding an 8.5-game lead over the Giants atop the National League West. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Dodgers. It's 24-year-old left-hander Alex Wood, acquired from Atlanta at the trade deadline. Tonight his 8th start with LA. His former teammate with the Braves was the D-backs Phil Gosselin.
We played together AA and then the big leagues last couple of years, so I know him pretty well. Really good competitor out there. He's going to mix it up. Good changeup, moves the ball in and out. Really funky motion. Tries to keep guys off with that. So he's a good pitcher. You know, he's got 10 wins for them. He's having a good season, so it's going to be a tough test for us.
Yeah, you remember that unusual delivery from Wood when we saw him earlier this year, pitching for the Braves. Just kind of reaches behind his back. The ball, as he sort of droops right there, the left side of his body. He's not had great control this year, Alex Wood. Between the Braves and the Dodgers, a good ERA, 3.51 in 27 starts. Diamondbacks faced him when he was with Atlanta June 1st here at Chase Field. A.J. Pollock drops it into left field. It gets behind Ruggiano. He can't find it. And A.J.'s aboard to lead off the ball game.
Hard sinking line drive out there to right field. Ruggiano very fortunate that ball popped straight up in the air and didn't roll all the way to the wall out there and left. A.J. Pollock may have been on third base had it gotten by.
A base hit for Pollock. And here's Ender Inciarte. Ender 295 and 4 homers, and coming off a 3-hit game Wednesday in the win over the Giants.
You heard the scouting report from Phil Gosselin. He didn't mention the curveball from Alex Wood, and on a given night, if he's feeling it, he'll throw it a lot. A spiked knuckle curve. He's had a couple starts this year, including one against the Phillies not too long ago, where he actually threw more curveballs than fastballs.
Turner coming really in deep from third base. The numbers on Alex Wood, 27 starts. This is his 8th start with Los Angeles, 10-9, a 3.51 ERA. And there's that curveball.
Yeah, this sinker curve changeup combination. Some nights he feels the change a little more. So other nights he feels the curveball a little more. But both really good secondary pitches.
Yeah, Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach for the Dodgers, was saying today that, you know, Wood is a guy that commands the fastball down in the zone, does a good job of keeping the ball down. And this stuff has good movement, good hard breaking ball. He'll throw that changeup. Two and one on Inciarte. Diamondbacks got a look at Alex Wood earlier this year. That was June 1st here at Chase Field when he was with the Braves, and he pitched well that day. Really well, in fact. Gave up 1 run in 8 innings and got the win.
Diamondbacks can get their running game going here against the lefty Alex Wood. It's always a little bit tougher to steal a base against a left-handed pitcher. That is, of course, unless Dave McKay has spotted something in Alex Wood's delivery, in which case the Diamondbacks should be able to get some good jumps.
33 stolen bases in 40 attempts for A.J. Pollock. Turner in on the grass at third, and that's ball 3, 3-1. Strike 2. It's a full count, 3-2.
Good move, Ender. Don't let that bat go.
Ender hitting .231 against left-hand pitching this year. That's down more than 40 points from last season. A.J. holds it first. That is line right to the shortstop, Seager, and Pollock is back in time. The rookie Corey Seager just tall enough there.
First base baseman, number 40.
Too bad Brander, good battling at bat, got a pitch up and out over the plate and hit it hard. Looked like it was headed toward that gap in left center, but Seager goes up and makes the play. AJ read it well off the bat. He's able to get back safely at first.
Seager, real good size on him down there at shortstop. 6'4", 215. A reason they think at some point he may have to move to a corner spot. Third base. He's a big kid. One of their top prospects. Here's Goldie. Paul Goldschmidt, 317, 27 homers, and 97 RBIs. About Alex Wood and his funky delivery. He says he's always pitched this way. Nobody has ever tried to change him. The results have always been good. But it is awkward, to say the least.
And it's so unusual because you don't see many guys with, what you would call unique or unusual deliveries anymore. Everybody's kind of cookie cutter. And there's a reason for that mechanically to get their arm in a good throwing position. But when you see a guy like Alex Wood with that little hitch in his giddy up, it really looks funny.
Just a throw over close at first. He's back in time, says Alan Porter down there. Wood, a second-round pick out of the University of Georgia 3 years ago. Two balls and one strike to Goldie. A.J. Ellis back there behind the plate. Yasmani Grandal has been banged up lately and is in a horrific batting slump. Deep into a pit of despair offensively, so Ellis has had a lot more playing time lately.
You see that rock back almost gets his upper body parallel to the ground behind the rubber before driving toward home plate. As you mentioned, extends that ball out behind his back, kind of gives you a little preview before unleashing it toward home plate.
Well, he went 3-2 on Ender before he lined out to shortstop. Now he walks Goldie first and second, one down for Wellington Castillo.
Catcher, number 7, Wellington Castillo.
If I was managing against the Diamondbacks right now, I'd have an inside move at second base before I'd even throw a pitch to Wellington Castillo.
Why is that?
They got good speed on the bases. A.J. Pollock, Paul Goldschmidt, two guys that really know game situation and read pitchers well. No go that time. Just try to take advantage. Wood just walked Paul Goldschmidt. Now he's got to deal with Wellington Castillo and probably trying to really focus on getting ahead in the count here to Castillo. That's when you can sometimes take advantage of that focus on home plate.
And you have two rookies, very young and inexperienced rookies, in fact, in the middle infield for the Dodgers, and Peraza and Seager at second and short. Castillo gets it in the air, high and deep, and way out of here. Oh, beef! That's what's for dinner. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks. Maybe they should have tried to throw to second base.
That is huge for the Diamondbacks to capitalize in the first inning. Won't let Alex Wood settle in out there on the mound. A couple of base runners on, and Wellington Castillo just touches one off the left field. Boom!
D-backs go into beef mode. Right away, 3-zip. Here's Phil Gosselin. Wood's former teammate in the minors and the majors with Atlanta. A.J. Ellis not liking what he's seeing. So far, Alex Wood has thrown 17 pitches and only 7 strikes. Gosselin 294, a couple of home runs, both homers coming with the Diamondbacks. And he hammers it to left. Base hit for Gosselin. Luciano over to cut it off. For the first 5 have reached for Arizona against Alex Wood.
Second baseman, number 16, Chris Owings.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Chris Owings, CO getting the start at second base tonight. Chris hitting .239. He's got 4 homers. A rocky beginning here for Alex Wood, who's actually coming off his best start as a Dodger in his previous time out. That was last Saturday at San Diego. 7 scoreless innings. He allowed just 3 hits. Seven innings was the longest Wood has gone into a game since his trade to LA. This one tonight has started off very differently. Chris takes a big cut at that one. He's down 0-2. Right center. That gets down, and this is going to roll to the wall. Here comes Gosselin. They'll wave him home, and he will score. And Owings is in there with a stand-up triple.
Nice approach that time by CO after swinging through a fastball up and away. He takes that breaking ball to the opposite field. It came off his bat well, chasing Van Slyke and Heisey all the way to the pool out there in right center field. Gosselin motors all the way around from first. Good to see CO driving that ball to the opposite field.
His 5th triple of the year makes it 4-0 Diamondbacks. Dodgers will bring the infield in with a 1 out and Owings at third for Yasmani Tomas. Yasmani 282, 8 home runs. Third, and Owings is back in time.
That's what you see veteran catchers do on occasion. You see Yadier Molina do it a lot. When your pitcher is struggling and doesn't look like he's going to be able to get out of an inning, try to get somebody out without throwing a pitch. Look for a pick off on the bases somewhere.
Especially against a team like the Diamondbacks, you know that the D-backs are going to be very aggressive on the bases. And they are trying to snap their luck against these guys. Losers of 31 of the last 41 meetings, but a quick 4-0 lead. And Owings down there at third. That one misses. It's 2 balls and a strike. The intermittent playing time really seems to have hurt Yasmani Tomas down the stretch. It's been tough for Chip to get him into the lineup with Peralta and Inciarte having very good second halves. Diamondbacks have not seen a ton of lefties lately. Seager coming home and Owings is out. Contact play?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And unfortunately, Yasmani's bat ended up the third baseline. CO had to kind of jump over the bat as he went into his slide, and A.J. Ellis came out of this play limping a little bit. CO really goes in hard, and notice he goes in feet first. Got the left foot of A.J. Ellis.
Yeah.
And you really have no alternative. Once Ellis received the ball, he's entitled to try to block the plate the way he did with that left foot, and Chris Owings, as the runner, is entitled to try to blow that foot out of the way.
So Owings is erased. Tomas aboard on the fielder's choice. 6-2 on the putout. 2 down, and here's Nick Ahmed. Nick batting .218. He's got 8 home runs. The 8th man to bat, and the Diamondback first against Alex Wood. One and two. Robbie Ray, who cruised through a nice easy 1-2-3 top of the first, including 2 strikeouts, is on deck.
Normally we give you the Diamondbacks batting order in the first inning of the ball game, but in lieu of that, just know that the 9 hitters on deck. We've seen everybody else.
We run through the whole thing here.
Yeah, love that.
Kind of like it this way. Just inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Great to have so many servicemen and women here with us tonight to celebrate Marine Week. Over 300 uniformed active duty Marines with us, part of the Marine Week festivities. Nick reaches down and drops it into right field, a base hit. And the Diamondbacks will at least clear the pitcher spot here as Robbie Ray comes up. That's the 5th hit in this inning for Arizona.
Piece of defensive hitting that time by Nick Ahmed. Just reaches out there, covers the plate. Wasn't a full swing, a lot of arms right there, but gets it over the infield in front of the outfield. Keeps the line moving.
Eric Honeycutt will make a mound visit here. East Valley Marines, part of our Marine Week celebration. Diamondbacks before the ball game also recognized the Marine Navajo Talkers, the World War II veterans. A very nice pregame ceremony, and we'll see the Marine drill team performing after the game tonight before the fireworks here at Chase Field. So a midnight plan. John Mattingly was saying as Robbie Ray steps in here that the Dodgers, a couple of times when they had seen Alex Wood when he was with Atlanta, there were times they really thought they had him in trouble and on the ropes, and he just sort of has this knack, Mattingly said, for hanging in there. And there were many times where they thought, all right, he's not coming back out, that's it for him. And then, you know, sure enough, here he would come. And they really like that competitiveness about Alex Wood. I say it's always been in there. He's in a deep hole here, down 4-0, 2 on and 2 out.
Well, that's the way Phil Goslin described him in his scouting report for us on Alex Wood. He's a heck of a competitor out there. Not always going to be easy. Sometimes you got to battle through early adversity in a ball game. Hopefully the D-backs will chase him out of here quickly tonight.
Well, Robbie Ray waves at that one, and Wood is finally out of the first, but the Diamondbacks get 4. Led by Beef Wellington on the menu tonight. A 3-run homer, his 19th, and after 1 inning at Chase Field, the Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 4-0.
ball went way out of here. It's amazing that earlier today he told me he could not even grip the bat on Wednesday. That's why he was scratched during batting practice. Just 2 days ago, a foul tip hit his wrist while catching on Monday. He was battling through it. But guys, just watching that ball go out of here in a hurry, it's hard to believe he could not even grip a bat 2 days ago.
And the great irony there, Jody, was that Salty was a late addition to the lineup, and he hit a big home run. It's a 2-1 win over the Giants on Wednesday. Salty drove in both Diamondback runs. Here's Adrian Gonzalez to lead off the second against Robbie Ray. 276 and 26 homers. Leading the Dodgers in RBIs. And the D-backs have the shift on for Gonzalez. He was an all-star this season for the first time in 4 years. Gonzalez's bat has slowed late into the year. In fact, he's in his worst slump of the season right now, batting only a .185 since the middle of August. 2-1. It's been a rough go for Gonzalez as of late. That one's in there for a strike, and Robbie is back even 2-2. Gonzalez says, you know, when you're in a groove, you're locked in, whatever, you ride it as long as you can because it will go away. And that's what's happened to him. 3-2 now.
It would be nice if he'd stay that way for 3 more days. This is usually where he comes to get healthy.
He can hit, certainly in this ballpark. Jam shot. Pop up, short left center. Pollock wants it. One away. Good crowd here on a Friday night at Chase Field in downtown Phoenix. Steve Perfume, Bob Bradley, and Jody Jackson with you. Glad you're with us here on Fox Sports Arizona. First of 3 D-backs and the Dodgers. And here is noted D-back killer Scott Van Slyke. 254 and 5 homers. Huge guy in there at 6'5", 220. Robbie Bob tonight, through only 5 batters so far, has consistently thrown that first pitch strike. Good start. Really had him off balance that time. 1-2. And Robbie Ray trying to put guys away in 2-strike counts. That's been an ongoing problem this year. Just missed there. The issue has been a little more prevalent since the All-Star break. Too many walks and too many foul balls trying to put hitters away. The pitch counts get too high too quickly. Got him. First base runner for the Dodgers.
Got him on that left thigh. This almost looked like an old Andy Fox hit by pitch. Well, the left leg goes closer to home plate even as the Van Slyke leans back ever so slightly in an effort to get out of the way. I use finger quotes on that effort. Stick the leg out in front of the pitch and head on down to first base.
Well, here's our first look at the 21-year-old rookie shortstop Corey Seager. Here's another first pitch strike from Ray. Seager 360 through his first 7 major league games. He's hit safely in 6 of those games so far, including the last 4 in a row. And he is the future, and for now the present, at shortstop for LA, one of their top prospects. Seager called up from the minor leagues for the first time, made his debut September 3rd. and had 2 hits in each of his first 2 major league games. And if he looks a little familiar, yes, Corey Seager's older brother is Kyle Seager, the All-Star third baseman with the Seattle Mariners, who won a Gold Glove last year. Corey is much bigger than his brother, 6'4", 215. And so there is a sentiment among some of the scouts that with that size, he may eventually be better served moving to third base later in his career, but he is the shortstop. Robbie Ray falling behind here, 3-1.
Which for me then begs the question, are there any more Seagers coming?
They're doing it right.
I guess so.
First round pick out of high school in North Carolina 3 years ago, the 18th overall selection. Brother's already got a $100 million contract in his back pocket. There goes Van Slyke, and that's ball 4. So Robbie Ray hit Van Slyke through strike 1 to Seager, then walked him. And here comes Mike Harkey. 2 on and 1 out. And the hitter will be A.J. Ellis.
It's a pretty impressive bat for young Corey Seager. I mean, one thing you look for in a young player is, their patience at the plate, their strike zone discipline, and with that walk, Seager has now drawn as many walks as he has strikeouts very early on in his major league career.
He has been coming for a long time. He's sort of been off in the distance, but now the future has arrived.
At the plate, catcher number 17, A.J. Ellis.
Yasmani Grandal has got a really painful shoulder injury. The Dodger catcher, who had taken over as their everyday guy, he's in a horrific slump right now. So A.J. Ellis, the veteran, who had been relegated to backup duty, has been in there a lot more lately, and he's really responded. The bat has come alive. He's in there now with 2 on and 1 out. And again, Robbie throws a first pitch strike. 239 and 4 homers for Ellis. But he's been much more productive lately. Since July 1st, he's hitting about 310 with 4 home runs. Coming inside, but he keeps missing in there just by a little bit. 1-1 now. You can see the difference in A.J. Ellis. The playing time is picked up, and as it so often does, the bat is picked up as well.
And Ellis perennially among the best hitters in the National League at pitches per plate appearance. He says the best chance sometimes is to draw a walk.
He is extremely patient up there. 1-2. This is a guy that hit 191 last season, and it looked like he was done as an everyday player, essentially Clayton Kershaw's personal catcher, but he's played a much bigger role here since the All-Star break. This is a good example of what Robbie Ray has needed to work on. He's ahead of this guy 1-2. He's got 2 on. Try and put him away and avoid the extended at bat. Lines it right to Goldie. That'll get it done. A double off Seager. That's the end of the inning. America's first baseman standing by. 2 quick outs for Robbie Ray. Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 4-0. at Chase Field. Students today picked up a limited edition custom cap, but don't worry, you can still make it out to the last college night of the year. That's October 2nd. And to get the cap for just $20, you'll get the ticket to the game, a beer or a Pepsi, and the cap in your school colors. Quantities are limited, so act now. Get your tickets before they're gone. Call 602-514-8400 or go online, dbacks.com/college. Start that college fund young.
You better.
They got a little one in the right colors tonight. Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 4-0 as A.J. Pollock leads off the bottom of the second against Alex Wood. A 4-run D-back first, led by Wellington Castillo's 3-run homer. A.J. singled and scored his first time up.
The Dodgers have to look at A.J. Pollock the way the Diamondbacks look at Adrian Gonzalez. This guy kills us. A.J. Pollock hitting .375 over his last 21 games plus tonight against the Dodgers with 9 extra base hits. He scored 14, driven in 11. That guy.
And the fact that he's a key bat in this lineup, but he performs that way against your biggest rival, just makes him all the more valuable. Two balls and a strike. Close to shortstop, Corey Seager. One away. Do you have a philosophy on big shortstops? We always hear big middle infielders that might not have the range that other smaller, quicker guys have. What are your thoughts on a 6'4" shortstop?
I don't care if he's 7'4". If he can cover ground, get the outs he's supposed to get, and do something with the bat, I think that's kind of one of those things that just because there haven't been many tall shortstops in the game doesn't mean there can't be.
And the prototype is quickly changing. We've seen Carlos Correa, obviously it worked for Troy Tulowitzki. Other big guys out there. Here's Ender. Lined out to Seager his first time up.
And you can be fooled sometimes. The little guys, the little middle infielders. He looks like a middle infielder. He's fast. Not necessarily. Just because they're small and their feet move fast doesn't necessarily mean they cover as much ground as a guy like Seager at 6'4".
As you always say, he has deceptive speed. He's slower than you think.
He's running hard, but he's not going anywhere. And sometimes those big guys cover a lot more ground because their legs are longer, their stride is longer. That crossover step's a little bigger.
Justin Turner at third knocks it down, and that's it. Ender's aboard. A base hit for Inciarte.
The threat of a bunt draws that third baseman in, taking away a lot of the range that Justin Turner could have down there at the hot corner. Diving attempt could only slow it down, allowing Ender to reach.
A chance for Goldie. 1 on and 1 out. Walked and scored his first time. Fingers crossed, we'll see. Goldie, since the All-Star break, has hit just over .275. He's got 6 homers. I would think as a right-hand hitter, Bob, that you could in some sense the catcher when they try and come down and in. We saw A.J. Ellis tuck himself back in there. Look at that. Can you sense that as a hitter at all?
Sometimes, especially big thunder-footed catchers who grunt when they move. And there are a few of those guys. But yeah, for the most part, the batter's focused on the pitcher and should be, and shouldn't be peeking back there at the catcher. But A.J. Ellis does a nice job of waiting until very late to assume his setup position.
He's getting right in Goldie's back pocket. That's the only reason I asked. He's going to go down and away here. This is away. 2 balls and a strike.
I mean, yeah, you do sense some movement back there, but without turning your head, or at least turning your head enough to see them out of your peripheral vision, you don't know whether they're moving in, are they moving out. we've seen a lot of catchers do one and then the other. They'll set up on the outside corner, and as the pitch is being delivered, they'll jump to the inside corner.
Nothing doing on the 2-1 pitch, and Goldie's ahead, 3 balls and a strike. I mean, Ellis is a big guy back there at 6'2", 230. He's a pretty big dude.
I think that's one of those things that can probably get you into more trouble than it would benefit you. Trying to guess where the catcher's set up, listen for his movement back there, listen for his shin guards to squeak, which will happen sometimes.
Well, so often we see teams pitch Goldie down and away. Rarely do you see anybody come in on him, the way Ellis was doing earlier in the at-bat. Full count. Ender holds it first, and Goldie fouls it back. Just missed that one.
Goldie walked and scored back in that first inning, but he's had some good swings tonight. Some real flat bat through the hitting zone tonight. Unfortunately, just a little bit underneath that.
D-backs already with 6 hits. Ender holds again. Goldie blasts it out of here. Way back and gone. Number 28. And it's 6-0. You hungry, Bob Brenly?
Always hungry. Always hungry. Yeah. Gotta love it.
Puts him right on 99 RBIs. That is indeed Goldie gone.
Yes, it was a fast home run to left field that time. Looked like a changeup that just stayed down the middle of the plate, down a little bit. Goldie golfed it out of here. Just mentioned he'd taken some good rips already in the ball game, and as has Wellington Castillo. Fouls that one right off the grill of A.J. Ellis. Oh, got all that one.
101 off the bat. And here is Beef Wellington, who hit a 3-run homer his first time up. D-backs have scored 6-5 via the long ball, and Wood already at 50 pitches through 1 2/3. 1 1/3, pardon me. That was the home run swing there from Castillo. It's a rough business back there.
Oh.
That's what happened to Grandal. He took a foul ball like that right off the shoulder, and it has nagged him badly for the last month.
You see Ellis has that little extender on the right side of his chest protector to supposedly protect that throwing arm, but it looked like that one got quite a bit of muscle that time.
Broken bat roller. Arraza's on it, and they throw out Castillo. Well, the bullpen will start getting busy. They got a lot of guys that have big fastballs back there. Baez is up and throwing. He's one of their hard throwers. 51 strikeouts in under 43 innings.
In the month of September, you can pretty much say every game will end up being a battle of the bullpens. Diamondbacks with 13 relief pitchers available. The Dodgers with 11.
They've got to do something about that. It's just silly. Will Gosselin singled and scored his first time up.
There are so many relief pitchers in this game tonight, I didn't even bother to write them in my scorecard.
Well, there's no room.
There's not enough room.
And they give you great notes, and now they go on to 2 pages. There's so many bullpen guys back there for both teams. Running out of hotel rooms.
Fans, anytime the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Coming up in the next half inning, as we celebrate Marine Week here at Chase Field, we'll be joined in our booth by Lieutenant General David H. Berger of the U.S. Marine Corps. We have over 300. uniformed active duty Marines in the ballpark here tonight. We'll talk to the Lieutenant General about that and other things on the top of the third.
It's probably the safest place in town tonight.
You better believe it. 2-2. Peraza off the glove and into right. Looked like it rolled right up his arm. Gosselin's aboard with 2 outs.
Second baseman, Chris Owings.
Maybe a little bit of a bigger hop than Peraza was expecting the last hop out there at second base, but yeah, give Phil Goslin some credit right there. Hit that ball hard to the opposite field. Little top spin. Gave it a bigger hop. That'll be ruled an E4.
They put a hit up on the board originally. Now they've taken it down. And yep, it is E4. Chris Owings, an RBI triple his first time. CEO found a gap and hit it to the wall in right center. This was Chris Owings in the first.
Breaking ball up and out over the plate. Did not try to pull it. Stayed right on it to that gap in right center. I mean, that was an easy stand-up triple.
Saw the reaction from Alex Wood as soon as he threw it. 1-1. A hanger. Up the middle, and that's in the center. A base hit. Gosselin in at third. Diamondbacks have got the foot on the gas. CO 2 for 2.
Right fielder,
This will be a little shock to the system for the Dodgers. You mentioned in their last 16 games they were 13-3 with a team ERA of 2.39. They're just beating Alex Wood all over the place tonight.
They've had Pedro Baez warming up the right-hander, and here comes Don Mattingly. So Alex Wood, who had his best outing as a Dodger in his previous start when he went 7 full against the Padres, will not survive the second here tonight. He is down 6-0, responsible for 2 base runners. Back after this. Buy your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And buy Mix One. Great taste, no face, available at local retailers. Beautiful night here in the Valley. Good night to be a D-back. 6-0. They lead the Dodgers, and we're not even done with a second inning yet. As we celebrate Marine Week, Phoenix 300 uniformed active duty Marines with us at Chase Field here tonight, and they have chased Alex Wood from the ball game. On for the Dodgers, the right-hander, the hard thrower Pedro Baez, 51 strikeouts in 42 2/3. He missed much of the year with a right pectoral strain, but he's back and out there tonight.
And only 8 walks. That's really the most impressive thing. You mentioned big arm, big hard thrower, strikes out a lot of opposing batters, and is usually around the plate.
Well, it's 6-0 Diamondbacks threatening more here. Phil Gosselin is the runner at third. Chris Owings at first. 2 outs, and Yasmani Tomas is the hitter. 96 from Baez, 0-1. Tomas reached on a fielder's choice his first time. D-backs so far 6 runs on 8 hits. One and one. Wellington Castillo, a 3-run homer in the first. Goldie, a 2-run shot here in the second. A short night for Alex Wood. If Yasmani to catch up to one of these fastballs here, he's due. 2 homers since July 24th. Tomas recorded a brand new episode of D-backs podcast today. The podcast has been on a midsummer hiatus, and Senior VP of Baseball Ops John Watson was our guest, and he spoke for a half hour about so many players, both at the major league level and the minor league level, and said there's been a clear difference in the second half with Yasmani. The swing mechanics have broken down a bit, but there's a ton of potential there. Owings takes off for second. Tomas shoots it out toward the right field corner, and that is a fair ball. Gosselin will score. CO is on the run, and here he comes. He is in there. A 2-run double for Yasmani Tomas, and it's 8-0 Diamondbacks. Dan Slight gave it a run down that right field line, but it dropped in there for a 2-run double.
Those are the kind you like with 2 outs in the inning, because everybody's going to run on contact. If there were no run outs, you'd have to hold up to see if Van Slyke might have a chance to make the play, but CO just put the throttle down and once again scores easily from first base.
Both those runs charged to Alex Wood. And the inning continues. Diamondbacks sent 9 men to the plate in the first. Nick Ahmed is the 8th man to bat here in the second. Nick singled his first time up. Now 9 hits for the D-backs. And that one really got Jim Wolf back there. Ken Crenshaw, the Diamondback head trainer, will come out to have a look. Well, Bob, we've had several games this year where we've lost our home plate umpire on plays just like that.
And certainly it's always a possibility for a home plate umpire to get hit with a foul tip, especially in the mask, but I don't think they ever expect it. As a catcher, you kind of expect to get hit several times a game, but as an umpire, you hope to sneak through 9 innings without taking one off the bird cage, but this one catches Jim Wolf on the right side of that mask, spun it right around on his head, and you can see he just went down to a knee back there.
Yeah, it didn't hit it flush at all. Just kind of off the side. Where an AJL knew right away. That's Jim Wolf's brother, Randy Wolf, long time, and still is Major League pitcher.
Crenshaw having Jim Wolf go through a series of tests right there at home plate. Stood on his left foot, then stood on his right foot, checking his balance back there, probably asking him some very obvious questions that the answer should pop immediately into Jim Wolf's mind, and looking in his eyes the whole time.
The gentleman standing right next to Ken Crenshaw on the right of the screen is Brian O'Nora. He's the crew chief and the second base umpire with his hand on his chin there.
Stay in there.
Jim Wolf. Nice job by the D-backs fans here.
Well, it looked like Brian O'Nora had some words with A.J. Ellis, the Dodger catcher, before heading back out to his position at second base. Maybe said, hey, let me know if you hear or sense anything back there going on with Jim Wolf. Which could really open up a can of worms. Yeah, he's missing every pitch back here. Get him out of here. But just, kind of a courtesy. Brian O'Nora's worked behind A.J. Ellis many, many times. And as you mentioned, he is the crew chief. So before he went back out there, went to the Dodgers veteran catcher and said, hey, keep an eye on our boy back there. Make sure he's okay.
There's Brian O'Nora, second base umpire tonight. It's an 0-1 count on Nick Ahmed. With Yasmani Tomas, the runner at second and 2 outs. D-backs with 4 in the first and 4 in the second. Ahmed gets it in the air. Left field. Ruggiero at the track, at the wall, and there it goes. 10-0 Diamondbacks. That's number 9 for Nick.
Diamondbacks taking out some frustration on the Dodgers here. We showed you the numbers earlier. It's gone all the Dodgers' way the last 2 years, but not so far in the first 2 innings tonight. Nick Ahmed, latest Diamondbacks to flex his muscle.
3 Diamondback homers. And here's Robbie Ray. He sent 9 to the plate in the first, now 9 in the second. 10 runs on 10 hits. Well, they wanted to change their luck against these guys, but I don't think anybody saw this coming. Keep it going.
Let's take a quick look at our Valley Honda keys to the game. So far, so good. A lot of Dodger fans in the house tonight. You want to keep them quiet.
Yeah.
At this rate, they'll be leaving in another inning or two. And for the Dodgers, make them work. They had an 8.5 game lead over the Giants in the West going into play tonight. You see the lineup they're running out there, which is certainly understandable for Don Mattingly, but we'd like to make them work a little harder in this series. Put some of those A-listers in there and let them take a beating too. Yeah, keep drinking.
Giants are hosting the Padres tonight. San Diego leads that ball game 1-0 in the second inning. Robbie Ray rolls it to third. Turner's there. And that's the end of what turns out to be a 6-run D-back second after a 4-run first. Goldie got it started. His 28th a 2-run homer. Tomas the 2-run double. Ahmed 2-run homer. 10-0 Diamondbacks. Lieutenant General David H. Berger is next on Marine Week. Checking in with plate umpire Jim Wolf, who has left the ball game now. So Jim Wolf, who took that shot off the mask, is done for the evening. And we hope that he's okay. Certainly looks okay, but just to be safe, Jim Wolf will not continue the ball game. And while the umpires realign here, and somebody puts the gear on and gets back behind home plate, we celebrate Marine Week Phoenix. 300 uniformed active duty Marines are here tonight, and among them Lieutenant General David H. Berger. And we are thrilled to have you, sir. Thanks for being here. It's great to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me here in the booth.
You're good luck. You got us 10 runs.
I wish I could claim credit for it, but it's actually the Marine who threw out the first pitch. He knew what he was doing.
Tell us about Marine Week.
Yeah, each year the Commandant picks one city to bring Marine Corps to, and usually it's a city that doesn't have a big Marine base there. So this year we gave him about 4 or 5 choices, and he picked Phoenix. So
nice.
We're here for 4 days with helicopters, jets, tanks, everything that the Marine Corps has, hopefully to show Phoenix a little bit about what their Marine Corps has.
So we won't expect any trouble here this week. We're all really well protected and guarded as always.
It's very safe, absolutely.
Are you a big baseball fan, sir?
I'm a huge baseball fan.
Who's your team?
The Orioles.
All right, well, they're having a little bit of a tough year.
I know, but I looked at the scoreboard tonight. They did okay tonight. And the Yankees in Toronto are beating up on each other, so it's all good.
That's great. Well, it's great to have you here.
Spoken like a true baseball fan. You know, in Baltimore, you want them to win, but at worst, you want to see the Yankees and the
That's exactly right.
Blue Jays beat up on each other.
Let's take a look at the first pitch. Tell us about this. Who is this young man?
Well, he's from Combat Logistics Regiment 15 O'Leary over here. And he's been practicing probably 3 or 4 weeks. He came down here with his mom. He grew up here in Phoenix.
Great. And
his mom lives here. He went to high school here. So I'm sure everybody that he knows is watching him tonight.
3 or 4 weeks for that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. And a left-hander coming off the mound. Pretty good.
Well, we got 2 lefties starting, so that worked out nicely.
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
So what happens for the rest of Marine Week?
Yeah, tomorrow, well, today we had a kind of a demonstration of the Air-Ground Task Force, what the Marine Corps does. Tomorrow there'll be static displays around the city. There's a couple leadership seminars. Our soccer team is here playing some games with ASU and a couple of other teams. Tomorrow night there'll be a real nice dinner, and then for the football game, another big event during the football game.
I was reading, sir, your resume, and it's unbelievably impressive. I mean, I don't know where to begin here. U.S. Marine Corps Command and Staff College, U.S. Marine Corps School of Advanced Warfighting, a graduate of the U.S. Army Ranger School, Jump Master School, U.S. Navy Dive School, Amphibious Reconnaissance School. You are a very accomplished soldier. Congratulations on all of that.
The Marine Corps has given me some great opportunities, that's all.
Among the things that we want to talk with you about today, you were in the Pentagon the morning of 9/11. Tell us about that, if you would.
Probably like everybody else, you were in the first probably hour or two, you weren't sure what was going on. After that, most of the Pentagon people left, and then there were some of us who stayed, and for the rest of the afternoon and evening, tried their best to get people who were on that side of the Pentagon who were injured and burned into the middle, into the center yard of the Pentagon where they could be treated. And there's some great medical care there from the doctors, the medical doctors that were in the military stationed in the Pentagon. And then the firemen came from Arlington Fire Department. We tried to get them into the building from the inside best we could. All in all, there was some real heroics by a lot of great folks that day.
Bob, it was tough. What was this night like, Bob?
It's really hard to describe. I mean, you know, we're just ball players. We're just a bunch of dummies and run around out there and spit and chew and kick the dirt around and have some fun playing baseball. But to have that great responsibility to go out there after 9/11 and give baseball fans and give America something else to focus on, even if it was just for 2 or 3 hours, something to take their mind off of the horrific events that happened on 9/11. I've said it many times, I've never been prouder to be part of baseball.
I think you're right. It was a tough time for our country, but it sure pulled us together, didn't it?
It sure did.
And we're proud to have so many active duty Marines here with us tonight, men and women serving their country as we celebrate Marine Week Phoenix. Do you get a chance to go out to many baseball games at all?
Well, I'm stationed in Camp Pendleton, California now, so Padres is where most of us go. Unless the Orioles are making the trip to play the Angels, and then you got to go see them play.
Well, the Padres do a tremendous job of honoring our servicemen and women. They really put on an impressive show every time we go in there.
They do. It's a big Navy Marine Corps town, and they really take care of their service members. But I was not familiar with Phoenix before last couple of days. Same warm reception here. I think the people here really love their military, take care of the families. It's a great town.
Now, Bob, let's go back to that World Series now. Obviously, you're right there. This is Chase Field, but of course the game's in New York as well. Has your perspective on that series changed over the course of the years at all?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You know, you watch highlights like this, and even though I was standing right there on the first baseline when President Bush threw out the first pitch and stood next to him for the photo op right there, it all seemed kind of surreal. It didn't always really feel real, but with passing time and looking back at it and things that you remember that happened, once again, it's one of those things that's very, very hard to describe, but I was just very proud of our guys and the way they went about their business, very professionally, very respectfully. They understood the situation, and as seriously as we take the game of baseball, it put really everything into perspective and really showed that we're just there for entertainment and distraction. And the real heroes were the people that went into those burning buildings.
I think some people view it as a distraction, or that was a way to take their minds off of it. I don't think so. I think it was a great reminder that the American way of life is going to go on. We're not going to let this deter it. So I think, like you said, that baseball event that night and the rest of the events were not about trying to distract Americans. I think it was about showing America we'll plow through this. This is not going to change who we are and what we do.
Lieutenant General David H. Berger, sir, we can't thank you enough. We're waiting for the umpires to get back out there, so we'll take a quick break, fans, and be back with a ball game. But we're thrilled to have you here as we celebrate Marine Week Phoenix, and we can't thank you enough for joining us. It was great to visit with you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for being here. We'll be back right after this, folks. We are set to go here at Chase Field. Alan Porter, who was the first base umpire, takes over behind the plate as Chris Heisey steps in to lead off the Dodger third in what is a 10-0 Diamondback lead. There is Alan Porter replacing Jim Wolf behind the plate. And our thanks again to Lieutenant General David H. Berger. Boy, it was great to meet him. What an impressive guy.
Ooh, I'm telling you.
Wow. The gentleman who was in the Pentagon on September 11, 2001, and boy, he's got great perspective on the whole thing. So we go with a three-man umpiring crew now. Heisey hits that out to left field, and Ender Inciarte runs it down all the way in the third.
Oh, struck pretty well by Chris Heisey on a line, hooking away from Ender, but got a great jump on it.
So we've got Mark Ripperger, the third base umpire, at third. Brian O'Nora, the crew chief, who was the second base umpire at first. They're essentially on the corners, nobody up the middle in terms of the umpiring crew. And Alan Porter back behind the plate.
And we've talked about this many times before. When the umpires are a man down, they're perfectly suited to handle a situation like this. They'll communicate from pitch to pitch when there's a batter on, or runner on base, or no runners on base. There's a certain rotation that they go through depending on where the ball is hit, and a lot of that goes all the way back to the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League when they work a lot of three-man crews in spring training.
There's Mark Ripperger at third. Alex Guerrero will hit for the pitcher. This was originally Alex Wood's spot, but he's long gone in what is now a 10-0 ball game. So Guerrero takes the AB.
Wow. 6 runs of support in his last 7 starts. He's got 10 in 2 innings tonight.
Nice and comfortable out there. That is a fair ball. Phil Gosselin throws it offline. Goalie able to run it down, and Guerrero's aboard.
Nice play to get to that ball by Gosselin. Momentum carries him into foul territory where he tries that jump throw. Unfortunately, just a little bit offline. Looked like it had plenty to get Guerrero at first base had it been online.
So Guerrero at first, 1 out, and here's the top of the order. Justin Ruggiano, who struck out to lead off the ball game.
Well, let me ask you this, partner. I've been watching Phil Gosselin mostly play second, but over at third base it really dawned on me who he reminds me of. David Bell. Remember when David Bell had that 3 or 4 or 5 year stretch in the middle of his career where he was one of the most sought after players in the game? We even talked about going after him.
Guerrero, when he ran through the bag, Bob, kind of, I don't know, tugged at his hip or his leg. It looked like his left leg, and I was out there limping around. Will Bundy is out there with Don Mattingly. He came through the bag and really didn't look good. Watch this. Yeah, right there he grabbed at it. Like his left hip area.
Hip or a high hamstring, which is usually not good. The higher the hamstring injury, usually the longer it lasts.
Guerrero has really seen his role reduced from earlier in the year. He's made only 15 starts since the middle of June. And he went into this one as a pinch hitter, and now they'll need a pinch runner. No volunteers yet, apparently. Anytime. You can see Alan Porter. All right, what are we doing here?
Too many options.
You know what? I think honestly that might be it.
Yeah, this never happens before September 1st. You know who the next guy up is if the guy goes down.
Might be Jimmy Rollins. Yeah, there's Jimmy Rollins. Got to get the oven mitt on there. Oh, it goes the other way, Jimmy. There you go. So Rollins will run for Guerrero, who was hitting for Baez, who was in there for Wood.
Yeah. And this is a dangerous situation, too, for Don Mattingly. You bring one of your more veteran players off the bench as a pinch runner cold. Bad things tend to happen.
Especially when, you know, they're 36 years old and almost 37. Just like Jimmy Rollins turns 37 in November. So he's at first with 1 out for Ruggiano.
I mean, this is not meant as a criticism of Jimmy Rollins. It's just a fact. The 36-year-old guy, he probably hasn't moved since his last swing of batting practice.
Why would he?
I mean, other than walk up to the clubhouse, watch a little TV, grab a bite to eat, put your uniform on, sit in the dugout. He's over there trying to stretch his legs as we speak.
And that's the thing, you don't get any time to stretch, do you?
No. I mean, if the substitute is quickly sent out to the field, occasionally they'll let you run a sprint or two down the right field line before taking your place at first base. But since it took so long for Don Mattingly to either convince Jimmy Rollins to pinch run or decide who he wanted to pinch run, you don't get any warm-ups.
And it wasn't a quick process. Two and 1. Robbie Ray, you know, he had a great start to the ball game, a 1-2-3 first inning, including 2 strikeouts, and then the Diamondbacks had that long first in which they scored 4 runs, and they had that long second, they scored 6 runs. Then there was the long delay for the umpire. You talk about trying to settle into a rhythm or a pace or a flow. There's been 0 for Robbie. And now he's behind on Ruggiano, 3-1. smacked foul right in front of Ron Renicky down there, and by John Kladnick, our Golden Glover. That was a hot shot right at John. Bringing 2 on Ruggiano. There's John Kladnick. He's manning left field. Terry Finley has right field tonight. David Bell, huh?
Yeah.
So that was a nice pull.
You know, physically they bear a resemblance, and when I saw him go into foul territory and make that off-balance throw, it just reminded me of David Bell back in his heyday with the Phillies.
Oh, the bat just shatters in half. Now we're losing bats. It's kindling.
Always take a look at it before you give it back.
You never know where you're going to find.
Yeah, you know, Billy Hatcher did that at Wrigley Field one day, broke his bat, and there were super balls flying all over the infield. There was a big gap drilled down the middle of the bat.
Well, that happened to Sammy Sosa.
Yeah. Of course, that was just one of his batting practice.
Yeah, it had been accidentally put in the wrong rack.
Yeah.
Former Cub Mark Grace. One more time on 3-2. Just inside. So Robbie Ray so far has walked 2 and hit a batter. 50 pitches, 28 strikes, 2 on and 1 out for Jose Peraza.
Second baseman, Jose Peraza.
Peraza grounded out his first time up. The 21-year-old rookie second baseman. Robbie really yanked that one.
Yeah, it's easy to sit up here and say, well, you know, you just need to take a deep breath and focus and get right back in the zone again. But it's not always that easy. You mentioned the long bottom half of the inning as his offense was pounding the ball, and then the long umpire's delay. And it's such a finely tuned machine where to get your brain working with your body and get everything where it needs to be to find that good release point. And sometimes as quickly as you find it, it can leave you.
One. Robbie just trying to get more efficient out there. And he has not been able to get deep into ball games. 0-7 in his last 10 starts, and during that time he's completed at least 6 full innings, only 3 times. Which is 5 innings his last time out. And he's calling it a learning process as he goes along here. You forget that Robbie is only 23 years old. He'll be 24 in October. There's a strike, 2-2. Peraza signed by the Braves out of Venezuela 5 years ago. He was dealt to LA at the deadline this year. Part of the deal that brought Alex Wood to the Dodgers. Just inside again, and again it's a full count, 3-2.
Jimmy Rollins still jumping around out there at second base trying to get his legs loose.
Yasmani Tomas. Rollins will stay put. And that's the second out here in the third. Dodgers bullpen's going to be busy tonight. Yimi Garcia, the right-hander, getting loose. He may run through a whole bunch down there tonight. Justin Turner struck out to end the first. Turner was having a sensational summer. He hit .335 over June and July. He was rolling. And then in the last week of July, right at the tail end of the month, he got that skin infection, and that really derailed his season. He's not hit since.
Just speculation on my part, but you can clearly see Justin Turner's got a lot going on with his setup in the batter's box and the high leg kick and the open stance and the bat. Everything, once again, the timing has to be just right when you have that many moving parts. And after he missed that time on the disabled list, he just hasn't been able to get all those moving parts in the right order yet. Seems like he's slow getting that front foot down to the ground, kind of slow reacting to pitches.
He's hitting just over .240 in the second half of the season, only 4 home runs. He was one of their key bats throughout the first half of the year. Now nobody can get together. 10-0 game right out of the gate. A lot of stopping and starting on both sides. Plate umpire Jim Wolf had to leave. A lot of disruptions here tonight. 2-1. There's a strike. Now this is really where you want to see Robbie put the guy away. Strand 2 guys. You got 2 strikes, 2 outs. Get that last strike somehow, or the out, and get out of here. Just keep going. Keep that pitch count down.
Especially on a 2-2 pitch with 2 outs. You don't want to go to a full count, which is what he does.
His 3rd consecutive full count.
I mean, granted, he has a 10-run lead in the ball game, but these are habits you want to develop every time you go out there to the mound. That 2-2 pitch is a pitch of action. You want something to happen right there so you don't get those runners started on base.
Now he's got a 27 pitch inning on his hands. 3-2. Here go the runners. Robbie struck out 8 Cubs his previous start. That was last Saturday at Wrigley Field. He also walked 3. Now Jimmy Rollins, the pinch runner for Guerrero at second. Ruggiano at first. Runners go. Pitch count going up, and we're back to trying to put guys away with 2 strikes. It's just been an ongoing concern. Nobody wants to step up. Stepping out, stepping in, stepping off. Another 3-2. And he's walked the bases full. I would think with a 10-0 lead that if there was ever a time, especially a guy like Robbie who lives and dies with that fastball, if there was ever a time, Bob, where you were just going to attack the hitter, 10-0 would be it.
Yeah, trying to trick Justin Turner there, back-to-back sliders to lose him to ball 4. When your team spots you to a 10-run lead in the first 2 innings of the game, that's when you just throw fastballs on the corners. Just try to pound those corners with fastballs when in doubt.
Now it's Gonzalez with the bases full. With Rollins at third, Luciano at second, and Turner at first. We've got Gonzalez in there, who just thrives in this ballpark. Gonzalez will hit lefties. He's got 4 homers against left-hand pitchers this year. Having just under 290 against lefties.
Slugs a little higher against the righties, but the average against lefties more than respectable.
One and two.
Good move there by Wellington Castilla. You may have noticed before he threw the ball back to Robbie, he just kind of pump faked and then held the ball. With Goslin playing as far off the line as he is at third, Jimmy Rollins isn't even going back to the bag after pitches. He's taking a lead about a third of the way down the line and just holding his ground right there. So Welly kind of pump fake back to the mound.
Here's a look.
Yeah, get a look at it right here. Keep in mind, Rollins is about a third of the way down the line. So just to make sure he wasn't going to try to break for home on first movement by the catcher.
Robbie now at 70 pitches, 39 strikes, and he's in that mid-30 range in one inning. That really makes Chip Hale uncomfortable. 2-2 pitch. Another 2-strike foul ball. And there is stirring in the Diamondback bullpen. Forward bullpen, Josh Clementer. "37th pitch of this inning right here. Right back at you. It rolls up the mound. Ahmed behind the bag. And the threat ends. Robbie Ray really had to work that time, but he kept it a 10-0 lead. Ahmed at shortstop will go to the bottom of the third. D-backs lead the Dodgers 10-0. Dodgers 10-0. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson here with you. Well, it's the third inning, and so the Dodgers go to their third pitcher. This is the right-hander Yimi Garcia, recalled about a week ago for his fourth stint with LA this year, his 50th appearance. And for the third time in 3 innings, A.J. Pollock will lead off an inning. He singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 2. This is the first time. Well, it depends on your definition of batting around. It's the first time the Diamondbacks have batted around in the first and second inning ever. Now, I like to think of batting around as the 10th guy comes up because you've completed it. I mean, it's logistics. For the third time in history, they've scored at least 10 runs in the first 2. But they sent 9 to the plate in the first, 9 to the plate in the second. This is the first time they have ever done that.
I kind of like it.
Keep it going. 4 in the first and 6 in the second. Along the right field line, Scott Van Slyke, Gonzalez out there in foul ground, but he's got it. And a quick out, number 1 in the third. Marine Week, Phoenix. We continue our celebrations honoring our servicemen and women. 300 uniformed active duty Marines with us in the ballpark tonight. Ender and Sigarte singled and scored his last time up. Ender 1 for 2. Don't forget, fans, Diamondback beer stein night is tomorrow. We got our beer steins tonight, and let me tell you, these are nice. This isn't some cheapo giveaway. This is a solid item. Oh, little blader that's going to drop in front of Ruggiano, and Enders 2 for 3. They got a 3-hit game Wednesday, and a win over the Giants. A couple of hits so far tonight.
Well, you couldn't throw it out there any better than that. Perfectly placed between the left fielder, the shortstop, the third baseman. Nobody could get to it. Sounded like he may have hit it right off the end of the bat. Ball just didn't carry at all. Falls in front of Ruggiano for a 1-out base hit.
Well, you love that approach too. The ball was down and away. Just kind of knocked it to left field. Here's Goldie. He has walked and homered. 2-run homers last time up, his 28th. It's this one high in the air. Playable though for Van Slyke and right. 2 outs.
It's easy to say after a walk and a home run in his first 2 at-bats, but even on that last one, it looks like Goldie is returning to form.
That'd be nice to see.
Final 3 weeks might be a lot of fun to watch.
Well, he hit .340 during the first half of the year, Goldie. He's about .275 since the All-Star break.
Baby needs new shoes, for crying out loud.
Little Jake. Wellington Castillo, a 3-run homer in the first, his 19th of the year. Diamondbacks have homered 3 times. Castillo in the first, Goldie and Ahmed in the second. Beef. Anyway, that beer stein night is tomorrow night, fans. Seats still available. dbacks.com/tickets. Get your beer stein.
Yeah, we got to look at them this afternoon, and tomorrow I'll let you know how they work.
Get back to us on that. A little test drive. You didn't bring any pizza back from Chicago, did you, on your extended stay with Gemma?
It doesn't last long. Yeah, that was great. Thanks to Gonzo for pinch hitting for the 3-game Giants series. It gave me an opportunity to stay in Chicago with my daughter and my son-in-law. And A beautiful granddaughter. And I'll tell you what, you talk to ball players, when you have a day off or 2 days off, or in my case it turned into 4 days off.
Well, you know,
in the summertime, chasing fireflies in the backyard, eating watermelon, spraying the garden hose on each other. Those are things ball players never get to do. It was joyous. I'm telling you, I had the best 4 days of my life.
That's great. It's like a Norman Rockwell painting over there.
And stupid little things that I think a lot of people take for granted. But, you know, when you play baseball every night at 6:40 or 7 o'clock or 7:15 or whatever it is, you don't have those opportunities to enjoy a beautiful summer evening. You know, wave to the neighbors on the porch across the street.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Grandpa Bob.
3-2. Wellington Castillo gets it in the air to left, but Luciano runs it down, and it'll strand in Ciarte. We are through 3. It's 10-0 Diamondbacks.
Jeremy Hellickson throwing his bullpen session today at 2:35 p.m. and that is a great sign. He was reinstated from the 15-day disabled list today after dealing with a strained left hamstring and made a rehab start in AAA Reno. Talking to Phil Nevin today, said it went great. He even got a hit, and Jeremy really looking forward to getting back out there. He said, look, after a couple of injury-riddled seasons, the arm has held up for him, and that was big. Of course, he didn't like being on the DL with the hamstring guys, but for the arm to be back and feeling good, this has been a success for him in 2015.
Yeah, it's great news, certainly, Joey. And Jeremy Hellickson will start Monday here at Chase Field against the Padres, the opener of that series. Hellickson and James Shields here Monday. Jhoulys Chacin is back. He'll start Tuesday against Tyson Ross. And then Wednesday in the series and homestand finale, Robbie Ray back out there against Andrew Cashner.
That's pretty much the best Padres have to offer, isn't it?
Yeah, we got the sharp end of that stick right there coming in. Van Slyke lines out to open up the fourth, and here's Corey Seager, who walked his first time up. And Phil Nevin is going to be here with the Diamondbacks on the staff as well. It's been the manager at Reno. He's done a terrific job managing the Aces. He'll finish out the year on the big league staff here. Great to have Nev with us. There he is. Yeah. He's a great guy to talk to about players and evaluations and what do you think of this guy, that guy. He has a terrific eye for things.
Yeah, great timing. We go to San Diego on the next road trip where he made his name as a player.
Did some damage over there.
Boy, did he ever.
Another 3-2 count here for Robbie Ray. Seager hits a one-hopper by a diving Ahmed and into left center, a base hit. This is the second hit for the Dodgers.
I mentioned at the top of the show, Robbie Ray recently hasn't been hit hard or hasn't been hit often.
Oh,
it's been the foul balls, the pitch count, and occasionally walks. Tonight, 3 base on balls, a lot of very lengthy at-bats that have run his pitch count up near 80 already here in the 4th inning.
Go back to the start, Bob, Saturday at Wrigley. He gave up only 2 runs on 4 hits. He lasted 5 innings, but needed 96 pitches to get through those 5 innings. He walked 3. A.J. Ellis sits that in the seats. And as we've seen tonight, it's the 3-2 counts and the 2 strike foul balls. It's been the same story here for the last 10 starts. And right away, look at the pitch count. It's at 80 right now. And barely half of them strikes. Ellis lined into a double play. His first at bat tonight. Left field for Ender. 2 outs. Hey fans, now's the time. Tweet us your strongest fan photo using the hashtag AZDataStrongFan. And you might see yourself at an upcoming D-backs broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. 2 outs for Chris Heisey.
A little chuckle there because Ender fielded that line drive coming in, and with his arm, he was looking to throw behind the runner over there at first base if Seager wasn't hustling back to first.
You love that aggressive approach out there from Ender.
You know, sometimes just the way the ball is struck will tell you whether you can take a chance or whether you should even think about it or whether you just put it out of your mind completely. But that time a sinking line drive forced Ender to come running in hard to make the play.
On the ground to shortstop. They get the force on Seager. And Robbie Ray is through 4 with a 10-0 lead.
Fourth inning. Take a look at our Geico this day in Major League Baseball history. September 11th, 1955. On his way to 2,654 hits in his career, Ted Williams got his 2,000th career hit in a 5-3 loss to the Yankees.
A great Marine Corps pilot, Ted Williams, and a very appropriate on this date in baseball history, brought to you by Geico as we celebrate Marine Week Phoenix with 300 uniform active duty Marines in the ballpark with us here tonight. Well, the fourth inning Set to get underway for the Diamondbacks, the home half of the fourth, and the Dodgers already on their fourth pitcher. It's the veteran right-hander Jim Johnson, as Phil Gosselin leads it off. Phil's already scored twice tonight. He has singled and reached on an error by the second baseman Peraza. The numbers on Johnson this year is 65th appearance. Still a hard thrower out there. He's out to Van Slyke in right field. One down. Brings up Chris Owings. CO 2 for 2. A triple and a single.
Second baseman, Chris Owings.
Kind of the way that things have gone lately for Chris. His base hits seem to come in bunches. He'll have series where you almost can't get him out. And then he'll have a quiet 3 or 4 days. Then suddenly he's a 3 for 4 again.
Just looking at the stats for Ted Williams, our Geico this day in baseball history. He never had a 200-hit season.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Wow. First lost 5 prime years to military service. World War II and Korea.
His high for hits in one season was 1949. He had 194 hits.
And one of the first players ever to have to deal with the defensive shifts, the Williams shift.
Of course, part of the reason he never got to 200 hits was because he usually drew close to 200 walks every year.
1-2. Nomar is not here. Nomar Garciaparra, who often does Dodgers TV. Nomar did not make this series in, but he'll always talk about that day at the All-Star game at Fenway Park in '99, meeting Ted Williams. What a moment that was. Oh, throw there by Turner, and Owings is aboard. Gonzalez couldn't make the scoop. CO busting it up that line. Turner a little nonchalant down there at third base, and the Diamondbacks have a base runner, E5.
Well, we see that a lot from Turner. I mean, there's a difference between playing relaxed and playing casually. And it looked like he's very casual down there on some plays at third base. And Gonzalez really adept at picking balls out of the dirt, but just could not handle that one.
This has not been the Dodgers' night. Yasmani Tomas, a 2-run double his last time up. 1 for 2. We thought we might see Peter O'Brien in this ball game. He has yet to make his major league debut after being brought up to the big league club for September, the roster expansion. But, Peter was not in the starting lineup against the left-hander Wood. Maybe in a 10-0 game we'll see him get his first big league at bat coming up. Saw Socrates Brito, Bob, while you were gone. There's Peter. It's been a good week so far for Socrates Brito. He had a base hit in his first major league at bat. Got his first big league start the other night. And next up, it's Peter O'Brien's turn. There's Socrates. Showed off some of that athleticism we've heard so much about. Real speed out there.
You would think this would be a real good opportunity if this score holds for another inning or two for Chip Hale to maybe unload the bench, get some of those guys some playing time, and certainly you would expect Pete O'Brien to be one of them.
Terry Finley's got that one down there. Nice job, Terry.
She's got an assistant.
She's got a staff. Big time. I don't think I've ever seen a Golden Glover arrive with a staff. That's how you come to the ballpark every day.
That's how I roll.
Tomas reaches out and rolls that breaking ball back up the middle. Owings will head for third. Boy, Asmani looked like he picked up that breaking ball, just kind of stuck the bat out there and took it right back up the middle.
There's a common tendency for hitters when they see an off-speed pitch is to try to pull it. But the best thing you could do is just stay up the middle of the field. It will keep you in a mechanically better position than if that front side flies open, bat head drops, you'll end up hitting a high fly ball to left field. But that time Yasmani just kind of guided it right back up the middle of the field.
Yasmani now a pair of hits. He's 2 for 3. Nick Ahmed 2 for 2, a single and a homer. 2-run homers last time up, his 9th of the year. Owings at third, Tomas at first, still just 1 out. Out to right, and that is a fair ball. It's in the corner. Owings will score. Yasmani will stop at third. It's an RBI double for Nick Ahmed, who is now a triple shy of the cycle.
That's not a bad pitch from Johnson out there on the outside corner, just above the knees. Nice hitting by Nick to get the barrel on that one. Chase Van Slyken, she's driving the bus. Everybody's driving the bus.
Dodgers getting thrown right under the bus here. It's 11-0. And here's the pitcher, Robbie Ray. Tomas at third, Ahmed at second. Chops at that one. It stays fair. Ellis is on it. And that's the second out here in the fourth.
Center field.
A.J. Pollock.
Fourth at bat in 4 innings.
Unbelievable.
My old buddy Mike Krukow used to say his goal as a starting pitcher was to go 0 for 5. Because that meant he stayed in the game long enough to get 5 at bats, and his team did enough that he rolled around 5 times.
It's good to have goals.
Yeah, always good to have goals. Did you ever see Krukow hit?
Sadly, no. Did I miss anything?
No.
Saw him pitch. He could do that.
As a hitter, he had a great golf swing.
1-1. Diamondbacks have 13 hits. The Dodgers have 2. They have as many errors as they have hits. Broken bat roller, Turner. And that'll end the inning. But the Diamondbacks get one more. 11-0. Day, Saturday, October 3rd. It's presented by Budweiser. First 10,000 fans with us here at Chase Field get this Los D-backs soccer jersey, courtesy of Pepsi. After the game, fans can stick around for a free concert featuring Latin recording artist Luis Coronel. We met Luis not too long ago. It's presented by Sprint and Samsung. You can get tickets on the phone, 602-514-8400, or visit dbacks.com. No shortage, fortunately, for Don Mattingly of pinch hitters down there. So this is the rookie Scott Schebler, who will hit for the pitcher and lead off the fifth. Schebler just 6 big league games under his belt, but already with 2 home runs. And Robbie ahead 0-2.
A couple of big home run years in the minor leagues, 27 homers in Rancho Cucamonga and 28 last year in Chattanooga.
This was Schebler Wednesday. Made his big league debut back in June. Called up for the minors for 1 game, went 1 for 3, and went back down. Had a leadoff homer the other night at Anaheim. Roll to first. Goldie the backhander. Robbie Ray won't beat him to the bag, but he got the tag on. Brian O'Nora down there. A nice play there by Robbie Ray. Boy, Goldie, Bob, no hesitation at all, waiting for Robbie to make that throw.
Yeah, the hesitation was Robbie getting off the mound quickly, a little bit slow that time, and he realized it, knew he wasn't going to beat the runner to first base, so he reaches out and applies the tag. Well, that's quick thinking.
Terrific play. Able to get the tag on Schebler for the out. 1 away, and here's Justin Ruggiano, the leadoff man. Sky high right field for Tomas. Robbie over 90 pitches, working on a nice quick 1-2-3 fifth. There's Jose Peraza, the second baseman.
Second baseman, Jose Peraza.
Peraza 0 for 2. This is a guy they like. He's only 21 years old. He's played most of this year in AAA, both with the Braves and the Dodgers organizations. And hit .293 in the minors this year. Stole 33 bases. He's got good speed. Him up behind the mound. Chris Owens has it, and that's a 1-2-3 fifth for Robbie Ray, who's retired 5 in a row. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. In the Diamondback fifth, we'll see Wellington Castillo, who got it started with a 3-run homer back in the first. And then Goldie gone. 11-0 as we start the bottom of the 5th. 5 innings now, 5 pitchers for Don Mattingly. The veteran Joel Peralta is on from the Dodger bullpen. Some defensive changes behind him. I imagine we'll see more here in an 11-0 game to this point. Ender and Ciarte will lead off the Diamondback 5th. Ender 2 for 3, a pair of singles. Scott Van Slyke moves in from right field. He takes over for Adrian Gonzalez at first base, and Scott Schebler, who hit for the pitcher, remains in the game in right field. Pitcher spot now 4th in the Dodger batting order.
Pinch hitter for the Dodgers, up second in the top half of the 6th inning. Don Mattingly may be trying to use everybody on his roster.
Might as well get something out of an 11-0 game, I guess, right? Ender and Ciarte. A 3-hit game Wednesday. He's got a 3-hit game here on Friday. Well, they don't have Howie Kendrick. He's close to coming back from the hamstring. Not ready yet, but he's close. They got Utley. I suppose you could have double switched Peraza out of there and put Utley in there, but they're just kind of nitpicking. Yeah, what's the point?
I'm sure he'd like to stay away from some of his veteran players. We saw that when Jimmy Rollins came in to pinch run. He probably took attendance down there. Any volunteers? Anybody? Yeah. Anybody? Well, Jimmy, you're sitting closest to me, so you go pinch run.
I think Jimmy Rollins, through all he's been through in his major league career, enjoys pinch running in the 3rd inning. That probably didn't come up too much. 0-1 to Goldie. Let's get 20 runs against these guys. Let's put up a 20 spot.
I'm all for it.
And Ciarte is going to get a free 90 feet here. That's going to go down as a pass ball.
Ellis got fooled there somehow. Immediately went out to talk it over with his pitcher. Something funny about the movement at the very tail end of that pitch caught his own catcher by surprise.
So Ender at second, a ball and a strike to Goldie, who has walked, homered, and flied out. Sanderson Ford bullpen. Robbie Ray just a smidge under 100 pitches. Enrique Burgos, the right-hander, warming up. Goldie right now sitting on 99 RBIs. That's another case, Bob. Robbie Ray's only given up 2 hits, both singles. 2 strikeouts. He's walked 3. He's hit a batter, but another case of 90+ pitches to get through 5 innings. Green 1. That's a strike.
I haven't looked at the numbers recently, but as a general rule, an average inning is usually around 16 pitches, 17 pitches, maybe at the most. Across the board, American League, National League, that's usually about the average number of pitches in an inning. And obviously you'd like to be under that. And Robbie had a couple of quick innings tonight, but when he gets extended, he gets extended.
The 3rd inning really got him. 3-2 to Goldie. Called strike 3. Drop that changeup in there. Big pitch. Backdoored him with it that time. Here's Wellington Castillo. Yeah, Robbie was 35, 37 pitches, something like that in that 3rd inning. And he went 3 straight 3-2 counts after the 1-out single. Really drove the pitch count up there. Beef, a 3-run homer in the first, is 19th of the year. And that one kicks away from Ellis. Peralta spikes another one. Inciarte in a third. Wild pitch.
That changeup again, this time way over there in the left-handed batter's box. Kind of a funny side hop. Once again catches A.J. Ellis on that right arm away from the padding. And there goes a wild pitch on Peralta.
He lives and dies with that changeup. In the air, headed for the right field corner. Schebler's over there, and it's out of play.
Schebler kind of short-legged that one a little bit as he got close to the barrier out there in right field. One more step and he makes a catch.
Yeah, that he had room. Scott Schebler. Only 6 major league games under his belt. I'd like to have that one back. 1-2 on Castillo. 1 out. Inciarte at third. Another one in the dirt. 2-2. This was Wellington Castillo, who opened the scoring in the first.
Wow, long home run to left center field. Change up coming right here.
Oh boy. That was on a tee.
That is a hanging changeup. They tend to get hit really hard. Unfortunately, Wellington just couldn't keep it fair.
Throw that again, please.
Body English trying to curve it back into fair territory.
Clanked it up there.
Facing into the second deck out there in left field. Come right back with another changeup.
That's what he's got. Got him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Peralta.
That's a great illustration of it's not so much what pitch you throw, it's the location where you throw that pitch.
Well, look at 5 and 6 right there on the Fox stretch.
Yeah,
look at the difference.
5 got hit about 450 feet just foul, and 6 Wellington swung right over the top of it. Same pitch, same hitter, same pitcher.
2 down now for Phil Gosselin. He has singled and scored twice, 1 for 3. Phil 8 RBIs in 10 games as a Diamondback, 2 doubles and 2 homers. Dodgers 8.5 up on the Giants at the start of play today. LA here trailing 11-0. Giants hosting San Diego. They were down 1-0 in that ball game, but now San Francisco leads 5-1. That's in the 5th inning.
Well, May not be in the cards for the Diamondbacks this year, but you'd like to feel like you've got some say in that National League West race. 19 of the next, 21, 22 games against the West.
Long stretch here in the division.
Make it very uncomfortable for those teams ahead of us.
Called strike 3, so 3 straight strikeouts for Peralta after Inciarte's leadoff single. It's 11-0 Diamondbacks. Sunday at 12:30 with Josh Rawitz, the Diamondbacks senior VP of Communications. He'll join the Diamondback Live pregame show for Executive Sunday. Josh Rawitz, that's a good get. He's a busy guy right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Where it's 11-0 Diamondbacks. Robbie Ray done after 5 innings, and on for the Diamondbacks, the right-hander Enrique Burgos. Robbie threw 95 pitches through 5, gave up just 2 hits, both singles. Struck out 2, walked 3, and hit a batter, and now it's Burgos to open up the 6th. Justin Turner will lead it off after the double switch by Don Mattingly. The pitcher spot is 4th in the LA order. That's next, and the rookie Jock Peterson is in the on-deck circle. Turner has struck out and walked 0 for 1. I always like to watch Executive Week, Fox Sports Arizona. That's where you find out what's going on in the organization. It's not just about the balls and strikes. You get a look at the Diamondbacks from the business side. Ticket sales, communication, marketing, all that stuff that goes into running a major league team. And Josh Rawitz, the director of communications, will be on the show on Sunday. Burgos behind immediately on Turner, 3-0. Haven't seen Jock Peterson in a while. Last time we saw him, he was hitting a home run every other at bat. He is really slumping. He's on deck. And he supposedly made some swing changes. Kind of anxious to have a look. Burgos loses Turner. So here's Peterson. You know, he used to have that funny batting stance where the bat was upright. He'd hold it. You know, he's got a big long bat as it is. He used to hold it straight up. And now he's changed that a bit. He's lowered the bat angle. It's less upright like it was at the beginning of the year. Now more parallel to the ground. They're trying to find something to get him going again. He is really slumping, down to 215.
And 20 of those 24 homers came in the first half of the season.
And he's hitting barely 180 since the All-Star break. And at one point, and well, that's still the case, lost the center field job. He's still in there from time to time, but he was benched for a while. And takes a big cut at the first one he sees. Foul ground. Third base side. And Ahmed has it. One swing for Peterson, and he's out. That's the way things have gone for him lately. After he was an all-star, and this is rookie year.
Well, there were times in the first half that Peterson made it look very easy, and we all know this game is not that easy. Adjustments to be made. It seems like the rest of the league made some adjustments to Jock Peterson and his strengths in the batter's box, and he's trying to make the counter adjustments. Not always an easy thing to do.
Scott Van Slyke. Van Slyke has been hit by a pitch and lined out to left. Gosling's on it, long throw. What a play. Phil Gosselin at third. Let's make that our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Phil Gosselin kept his cool here.
Oh, he really did, and showed off a strong throwing arm. He had the ability to get his legs underneath him, get up on top of the baseball to make sure he got a lot of carry, and man, they get Van Slyke by quite a margin down there at first. Nice play.
Well, he has really been a nice addition to the Diamondbacks, acquired from Atlanta in the Tukey Toussaint deal. Corey Seager, the shortstop, has walked and singled. Turner moves up to second on the play, now with 2 outs. Seager played most of this year with AAA Oklahoma City. 105 games there, hit about 280 with 13 home runs. Now he's up, and he's pretty much the everyday guy at shortstop, so Jimmy Rollins is going to ride out the rest of the year as very much it's kind of an extra piece on the end of the bench.
Pinch runner
in the third inning. Hello. Jimmy Rollins, of course, he's reunited now with his former Philly teammate Chase Utley. Matt Latos there in the Dodger dugout. His acquisition has not worked out at all. Here's Chase Utley, the former Philly. He's been taking ground balls at third base. They might try him at third this year at some point.
That would be interesting to see. There were times Chase Utley had throwing issues from second base.
He's never played third base. Howie Kendrick, of course, has been out for a long time. He hasn't played since August 9th. Kendrick with that left hamstring. Utley's played a lot of second base, but sat out tonight against the lefty Ray. 2-2 to Corey Seager. Utley said he was, just taking reps at third a couple of times lately just to get a feel for that spot. He said it's really been years since he took grounders at third base. But I think they might get him some time over there at some point before the postseason. Especially with the way Turner has struggled offensively. 3-2. They're going to walk in the inning issued by Enrique Burgos. They walk Turner to lead off the sixth, and now a 2-out free pass to Seager.
Catcher A.J.
A.J. Ellis.
That's one thing about the hot corner down there at third base. You mentioned Utley's been taking some ground balls down there from time to time, but taking fungos off a coach's bat and having
Goldie up there,
Goldie or somebody hit a screamer down your direction, you don't simulate that in batting practice.
Not if you're smart.
Ooh.
I'll end up looking like the goalie in Slapshot. Just shell-shocked. Denny Lemieux. Burgo suddenly can't find the strike zone. It's 2-0. Dodger bullpen. Guess what? Somebody's throwing. Ian Thomas, the left-hander. He'll be the 6th pitcher in 6 innings for LA. A short night for starter Alex Wood. Enrique really having problems now. The runners move up. Wild pitch.
Wow. He just spiked that one into that left-handed batter's box after missing with the slider on the 1-0 pitch before. Once again, maybe trying to be a little too tricky out there with a big lead in the ball game. Challenge the strike zone right now.
Center field. A.J. Pollock falls off Tomas. He's got it. Burgo strands 2. It's 11-0 D-backs. Jim Wolf, who had to lead the ball game earlier after taking a foul tip right off the face mask and a little woozy, so he came out of the game. Alan Porter, who began the ball game as the first base umpire, you see with the gear on, he took over behind the plate. So you see Jim Wolf back out there.
Well, absolutely. I mean, obviously, if there were any concerns about his condition or a possible concussion, he probably wouldn't be here right now.
New pitcher for the Dodgers. It's the left-hander Ian Thomas, acquired from Atlanta back in May. Hasn't pitched in a big league game since late July. And 8 appearances all year. Defensive changes behind him. Austin Barnes, the rookie, takes over at third for Justin Turner. And he'll hit in Turner's spot, third in the order. Chris Owings, who has had a good night here. A triple, a single, he scored twice, got an RBI, leads off the sixth. CO now at 242. He's got 4 homers. RBI triple back in the first, singled and scored in the second. Reached on an error and scored his last time. So far, so good on this homestand. Diamondbacks took 2 of 3 from the Giants. Good start here to open up this 3-game set against the Dodgers. Padres in for 3 starting Monday. 1-2 on Owings. Chip Hale, as he put it, had watched his club trending in the wrong direction in terms of wins and losses. After the sweep of the Reds in Cincinnati, Diamondbacks were 1 over 500, only 5 behind these Dodgers for the NL West lead, but since then 5-12. And the division deficit had gone from 5 games to 13.5. But things are trending back in the direction in which you want to see it head. 2 wins over the Giants and now 11-0 here against LA.
Boy, and that happened so quickly. The Diamondbacks were trending in the right direction to get themselves within 5 of the Dodgers, and then suddenly started to crop up some playoff talk. That's about the time the Diamondbacks went in the tank and the Dodgers got hot. Went 13-3 over a 16-game stretch, and the Diamondbacks were looking up at the Giants and Dodgers.
Yeah, that included for LA a sweep of the Giants. Kind of the way the Nationals felt after they were swept at home by the Mets in a remarkable series in a lot of ways. Here's Yasmani Tomas. That trend has continued tonight in the NL East. Mets 5-1 winners in Atlanta. And the Nationals lost in Miami 2-1. The Nationals are in absolute free fall right now. That is a total collapse. Tomas, a 2-run double in the second. He singled his last time up, 2 for 3. Arm to short. Seager. Nice backhand play. Plants and throws, and they got him. Corey Seager.
Seager pretty casual about that. Seager going out there into shallow left field. Very close play over there at first base. Kind of took his time to wind up and make that throw across the diamond.
Alan Porter is holding Nick Ahmed at the batter's box, and okay, Chip Hale says we concede. No replay or challenge. 2 down now for Ahmed. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Peter O'Brien is in the on-deck circle for the Diamondbacks. I'd really like to see Nick reach here so Peter can get that first big league at bat against the lefty.
Yeah, because there's no guarantee that Thomas will still be in the game next inning. Should you need a pinch hitter for that pitcher spot to lead off the 7th.
Peter, 26 homers at Reno this year. Had 107 RBIs in just over 130 games. He has got tremendous raw power. Meanwhile, Nick up there with a 1-1 count is a triple shy of the cycle tonight. Just find a gap and you got a cycle. Two and a 1. Ahmed singled in the first. A 2-run homer in the second. And an RBI double in the fourth. 3 for 3. Peter O'Brien big power bat. 92 home runs over parts of 4 minor league seasons. 34 last year. 26 home runs this year at Reno. The catcher turned outfielder. 2-2 on Nick Ahmed. Just did get a piece of it.
Good emergency swing right there.
Could hear the alarms going off and the sirens.
Intruder alert.
Danger, Will Robinson. Just got a piece of it. Three and 2. See if we can get Peter up there against the lefty.
Yeah, with Nick on third base.
That'll work. So much young talent in this organization. 3 and 2. That is a fair ball down the left field line. It's in the corner. Ahmed takes the turn and he'll settle for the double. 90 feet shy of the cycle right there, and we're set for the first big league at bat for Peter O'Brien. Ahmed 4 for 4. Here comes O'Brien, hard to beat Pete. 284 with a AAA Reno Aces, 26 homers, knocked in 107 runs. His slugging percentage in the Coast League this year was over .550. And this is his first major league at bat at the age of 25. Strike one. Peter caught only 11 games with Reno this year. Played most of the season in the outfield for Phil Nevin. And after working all throughout the fall league and the offseason all spring long, said he just didn't want to catch anymore. He wanted to focus on his hitting. And felt being an everyday outfielder was the best way to do that. Even if it meant he might slow his own progress to the major leagues. The Diamondbacks were at a point where they needed catchers.
Yep.
But he decided outfield was the way to go for him. A ball and a strike. Peter's a big kid up there, 6'3", 215. He is a block of granite, right out of the Goldie mode, just in terms of his physicality.
Well, Peter may have had a look at Ian Thomas in AAA this year. Ian Thomas was pitching for Albuquerque. O'Brien playing for Reno.
1-2. Base hit. Here comes Ahmed. It's 12-0 and an RBI single for Peter O'Brien in his first big league at bat.
Nice going, kid. First and many.
Great to see. He has worked really, really hard. A.J. Pollock. A.J. singled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 4. Another look at Peter O'Brien.
Pitch down, stayed right on it, got some backspin on that liner up the middle of the field. First hit, first RBI. Hard to beat Pete.
O'Brien from Miami, a second-round pick by the Yankees in the draft 3 years ago out of the University of Miami. He played at the U. Acquired in the Martin Prado deal. And as a big leaguer so far, 1 for 1 with an RBI. 0-2 on AJ. Center field for Heisey. Diamondbacks tack on one more. Peter O'Brien, congratulations, his first major league at bat, and it's an RBI single. Oh, by the way, Diamondbacks lead the Dodgers 12-zip. For the Diamondbacks, they lead the Dodgers 12-0, and some big changes here as we start the 7th inning. New pitcher for the D-backs. The right-hander Matt Stites, his 7th big league appearance. It's a whole new battery for Chip Hill.
D-backs remaining in the game now in left field, number 72, Peter O'Brien. Moving from left field to center field, number 5, Ender Inciarte.
Oscar Hernandez takes over behind the plate for Wellington Castillo. So Stites on the mound, Hernandez behind the plate. Jamie Romack will replace Goldie at first. And Peter O'Brien, fresh off his first major league hit, an RBI single, takes over in left field for Ender Inciarte. Ender will move to center and replace A.J. Pollock. And here's Chris Heisey to lead it off against Matt Stites. Pitcher spot is now first in the Diamondback batting order. Coming at you. Welcome back.
Thanks for the heads up. I was writing changes down here in my book. I wasn't even looking.
You were over there taking the SATs. And that one was coming right at you. I see so far 0 for 2.
Oh, brother.
Pops him up. Nick Ahmed is under it. That's the first out. A big day for the O'Brien family. Let's go to Jody.
That is certainly right, Steve. Proud parents of Peter O'Brien, Mercedes and Terry joining me now. And the reaction to the first major league hit was, of course, a rousing ovation. Just Mercedes, how do you feel right now seeing your son get to the major leagues?
I'm so proud of him. Very proud of him.
You wanted to say something to him, didn't you?
Yes, I want to say to my son, Papi, te quiero, I love you. Toda la familia está orgullosa de ti. And I'm so proud. I don't even get anything.
I'm sure you are. Terry, what are you feeling right now?
Happiest day of my life. Everything we've went through, to see him get up there and battle like he has and done everything he has, and the work he's put in, he deserves what this day has brought to him.
Question, now you guys came in from Miami, what, yesterday or today?
We came in Wednesday.
And also the whole family's here. His sister, his brother, nieces, a grandma, his brothers. Wow, everybody crazy.
It's always been a support thing for him, and this is what he wanted for this day, is us to be here because we're his support. We're his backbone.
And, you know, when you watch your son reach this level, does it just bring back memories of how hard he's worked, and whether they're recent memories or even as a small child of how hard he's worked to get to this point?
I played baseball all my life. This is my dream. He's living my dream.
Same for you? You feel that way?
Yes. And for the whole family, I got a brother. His name is Pedro. He's not here today, but he's so proud of him, too.
You know, we were just talking. I know, obviously, you know, Terry, you're Irish, and Mercedes, you're from Cuba, and I was telling you that he's really melded with the Hispanic guys. He speaks Spanish and English.
Perfecto. Perfecto.
Is he more comfortable now with the outfield position, Terry?
He's more comfortable because he felt that he was more. He could concentrate more on his hitting. Peter's always been hit first, and I think he wouldn't mind going back to the catching position, but he's felt very, very comfortable in the outfield. But he's always open. He'll do whatever the team needs him to do. So, and back to what I was saying earlier, is that this woman right here, Mercedes, has been the support behind this whole family.
It's very important, obviously, that support.
Thank you, too, to his fiancée, Jordan. She's beautiful, too.
Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of the game and just really celebrate your son coming up to the majors. Thank you.
Enjoy the moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Gracias.
You're welcome very much. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Jody. As you can tell, Peter in the Miami area grew up in a Spanish-speaking household. He speaks perfect Spanish. His mother is a tremendous person, and she's a great story herself, and everything they've been through to get Peter to this point.
First big league hit, first chance to step on a major league field and have success right away. And you heard him say the support group, it's more than just Peter O'Brien getting his first big league knock. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of people who have had some kind of an influence on Peter's career, including his parents. And it's just a big day for everybody who's had anything to do with Peter O'Brien getting to this point.
Well, Justin Ruggiano strikes out. Matt Stites works a 1-2-3 seventh with a couple of punch outs. And as we watch Peter O'Brien head back to the dugout before the home half of the seventh inning, we will keep it right here on this September 11th. And we pause here to honor America on this day that we vowed years ago we would never forget. Here's the voice of Chase Field, Mr. Chuck Drago. 12-0. Hey fans, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. You can also keep up with the pennant races. This is a well-oiled machine. Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality. MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, the whole thing. MLB.TV today. Ender Inciarte. And there to lead off the bottom of the seventh. 12-0 Diamondbacks. They've got 16 hits. The Dodgers have 2. And Ender has 3 of those 16 hits. He's 3 for 4. Line drive to Schebler. One away. Now we'll get a look at Jamie Romack. Jamie took over for Goldie at first base.
First baseman.
Talked about the year that Peter O'Brien had for Phil Nevin at AAA Reno. Jamie Romack put up tremendous numbers there. 27 homers, 100 RBIs, 42 doubles for the Aces. And he's a guy that is a nice piece, Bob. He can play anywhere in the infield, the outfield, all over the field.
There's obviously something wrong.
What do you got?
Well, Ian Thomas is pitching a second inning. This is unheard of.
Probably a clerical error. They had used 6 pitchers through the first 6 innings after Alex Wood was knocked around.
Nasty curveball there from Thomas. Woo.
Oscar Hernandez on deck. Peter O'Brien was one of the Salt River Rafters catchers all throughout the Fall League last year. It'll be Oscar Hernandez this year. Oscar will play in the Fall League to try and make up some of those at-bats he's spent watching here. That was one of the things with Peter. He worked enormously hard on improving as a catcher. And the book is still not closed on that, we're told. As Romack strikes out.
Change up that time from Thomas to get the swing and a miss from Romack. A good thing for Peter O'Brien, even if he never goes back behind the plate as a full-time or even part-time catcher, the fact that he has done it will probably mark him as the emergency catcher somewhere down the road. Of course, if he turns out to be the offensive player the Diamondbacks expect him to be, that is the last place you will see him.
Well, it's a crowded outfield picture. There's no getting around that here. And Peter worked so hard throughout the Fall League. He was here on January 2nd, ready to work with Glenn Sherlock, and they worked together tirelessly all through January on improving Peter's skills behind the plate. Mostly on his footwork, his catching and throwing. A.J. Pollock trying to avoid a liner into the dugout. And then you've got Oscar, who is a tremendously gifted defensive catcher, and he's been working on his hitting, having just turned 22 years old not too long ago, back in July. And we're waiting for the bat to come around here, and he's had to spend most of this year just watching because of the Rule 5 regulations. Did Oscar line one in the dugout that we're not aware of last time?
I don't know. We'd have to ask AJ. That's what happens when you take a guy who's used to playing 9 innings every night. When you take him out of the game early, hijinks ensue.
Three and two.
And AJ's thinking, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Well, I'm used to running out to center field, taking my at-bats, running the bases, scoring runs, and now I just have to sit here and watch and entertain myself.
That can only lead to trouble.
Yeah.
Oscar strikes out. Thomas works a 1-2-3 7th. We'll head to the 8th. It's 12-0 Diamondbacks. Gig Live high-speed highlights on this September 11th. Diamondbacks have outscored the Dodgers 12-0. They've about to hit them 16-2 as we celebrate Marine Week Phoenix. Very proud to have with us more than 300 uniformed active duty members of the U.S. Marine Corps. Phil Gosselin has moved over from third base to second, replacing Chris Owings, and Brandon Drury takes over at third. Matt Stites back out there to face Jose Peraza. As we open up the 8th, here's Brandon Drury. Boy, just, you look around and you talk about Socrates Brito at his first base hit the other night, and Peter O'Brien tonight. And we've seen Brandon Drury now, and that talent that's been down there for a couple of years now is starting to rise to the surface here.
Obviously, you hope the Diamondbacks would have been in a situation at this point of the season where it wasn't a showcase for some of your young talent, but that's a situation the Diamondbacks find themselves in, and a great opportunity here over the last 3 weeks to get some of these guys some playing time, some at-bats, some experience, give you a little better handle of what you're working with going into spring training next year.
And as I mentioned this before, we recorded today with Senior VP of Baseball Ops Dijon Watson a new episode of D-Backs Podcast. We've had a summer hiatus with a podcast, but it was back today, and Dijon talked for a half hour with us about all the major leaguers and minor leaguers and who they've had their eye on. There's the Brain Trust, Dijon Watson, second from the right. And Dijon is so good at breaking down things from a scout's perspective, and you know, he gives you a different filter through which to look at the ball club, and he talks a lot about some of these young players. So episode 23 of D-Backs Podcast should be available soon, either on iTunes or at the website dbacks.com whenever it gets posted by folks in New York. Let's take a look at our State Farm report of the ball game. We're all hopped up here, BB. You've been playing granddad. We've been watching the Hillsboro Hops, who came back from 1-0 down to win the best of 3. Now they're in the league finals, and they won game 1 of the Northwest League Finals over Tri-City yesterday. Game 2 coming up tomorrow at Pasco. Here's Austin Barnes. Barnes in there at third for Turner. Just 4 for 18 in the big leagues. He's only played a dozen games for the Dodgers. He's called up for the minor leagues on Monday. His third stint with the big league club this year. Here's Drury at third. Nice scoop by Romack.
Hey fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 20 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Well, how about this? Not only did Don Mattingly allow Ian Thomas, Bob, to pitch a second inning, he's going to let him hit here. Got expanded rosters. They got 50 guys over there. He's going to stick with his pitcher.
This is probably something like what went on in that first base dugout. Hey, Carl, you want to hit? No. Hey, Andre, you want an at bat? No, thanks. Chase, you want to get an AB against this? No, that's all right, Scott. All right, Ian, go get him.
It's been one of those nights. 0-2 now. All strike 3. 6 up, 6 down for Matt Stites. Bottom 8 coming up. It's 12-0 D-backs.
Complete and comprehensive coverage of Diamondbacks baseball. D-Backs Live will come up after this game, and Joe Borowski will have to focus on the offense. How did this happen tonight?
Well, the biggest thing is the starter for LA. He struggled with the strike zone. He was falling behind, and the Diamondback hitters were running to the batter's box.
All right, we'll break it down blow by blow, plus Peter O'Brien and his major league debut. No doubt we'll hear from him. That's right after this one here tonight. Steve and Bob, we will send it back to you.
Thank you, guys. And here in the bottom of the 8th inning, we'll take a look at 2 guys who will factor into the third base equation, at least the discussion here over the long winter. Phil Gosselin and on deck Brandon Drury. Gosselin started the game at third. He has since moved over to second base. And he's 1 for 4 with a single. He scored twice. That, to me, Bob, is going to be the most intriguing thing about the offseason is where do they put all these infield pieces? There's a lot to figure out. There's a pop-up behind the second base bag. Corey Seager's under. Far away. Look at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup. Game 2 Is a 4:30 start for Diamondback Live pregame show here on Fox Sports Arizona. Former D-backs great Mike Bolsinger takes on Ruby De La Rosa. First pitch 5:10. Pregame show at 4:30 with the lightning Todd Walsh. Todd and I taped a segment for the pregame show tomorrow. Another Todd's Garage item popped up that caught his attention. So we'll talk about that on the pregame show tomorrow. Here's Brandon Drury. You never know what Todd's going to find in there.
How much time does he actually spend perusing all those items in the garage?
I'm a little afraid to find that. He's kind of one of these hoarders where stuff just
borderline hoarder, I think.
He had a coupon. It was a coupon from 1979, right?
Yes, 1979. Yep.
And it had his address on and everything.
Yeah. Had to fill out
for free hot dogs.
Fill out what date you thought Carl Yastrzemski would hit his 3,000th hit. Didn't you get one of those, Bob?
No, just that one. Where did you get this coupon?
Where
was it?
Probably at a minor league baseball game in Rochester. They probably handed it out.
I see.
Yeah.
At the Red Wings game.
So I brought like 12 of them home, knowing that 30 years later I'd probably need it.
Of course, the funny part was, I don't want to give it away, but you're supposed to guess the date that Yaz was going to hit his 3,000th hit. Well, he guessed a day that the Red Sox were off.
So Bob, I'm still on top of my game. You know?
Yes, you are. Nothing has changed.
No, nothing at all.
Keep those Emmy nominations coming. 2-2.
Oh man,
it happens. And a little roller. Van Slyke. Good job by Thomas to get over there, get the ball, and find the bag with his foot. Nice play by the Dodger pitcher there.
There's been a couple plays down there at first base here in the latter stages of the ball game. I think in a closer game we may have had an appeal. We may have an appeal anyway. Yeah, I think they're going to put the earmuffs on here. And
yeah, he clearly beat that one, Brian O'Nora. It's 12-0 in the 8th inning, so we'll cut him some slack there, but it sure looked like Brandon beat that out. Here's a look.
And Brandon Drury shouldn't be penalized just because it's been a long offensively charged game for the Diamondbacks. If he beats it out, he should get an infield hit.
It was very close. But it's another replay review brought to you by Mix One. The headsets come on. Brian O'Nora and Alan Porter. And they're gonna find that Drury was safe. You missed it while you were gone playing a Granddad with Gemma. We had a pitch count fiasco with Angel Hernandez. Or Angel lost track of the counts 2 batters into the ball game. Wow. We had to go back and look at every pitch of the at-bat.
Hard to stay focused that long.
So we've seen a little bit of everything here at the ballpark tonight.
We're going to find out someday. While the umpires are over there with the headsets on, they're listening to Led Zeppelin Physical Graffiti.
Oh, why wouldn't they be?
And then they just watch the replay here on the big board and go ahead and make a call.
There it is. So a base hit for Drury. Brandon wants that one.
Yeah, absolutely. He hustled down that first base line. He earned it.
His 3rd major league hit, Brandon Drury. So the Diamondbacks win the challenge. An updated look at our replay review standings brought to you by Mix One. Yasmani Tomas. A couple of hits for Yasmani, a double, a single, 2 RBIs.
It's his bell rung. It's been one of those nights back there for the guys behind the plate. Pitch down and in, foul right back into his grill. Bouncer to shortstop. Seager grabs it, and they turn
the double play. We will head to the 9th inning. It's 12-0 D-backs.
Brought to you in part by Tire Pros. For the best selection of Continental and General brand tires, visit your local Arizona Tire Pros location today. By Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees. By Dollar Shave Club, shave time, shave money. And by Phoenix International Raceway. Join PIR on November 15th for NASCAR. Visit us at phoenixraceway.com and get your tickets now.
Oh, beautiful night here under the Arizona desert moon. Our Gila River game summary. This one over in the 2nd inning. D-backs got 4 in the first, 6 in the second. Wellington Castillo a 3-run homer in the first. Goldie and Nick Ahmed each with a 2-run homer in the second. And the Diamondbacks have not looked back. They have out-hit the Dodgers 17-2. And lead at 12-0. Alan Webster out there for the 9th. Here's Scott Van Slyke.
How about that? Every position player had at least one hit and at least one run scored in the first 2 innings of this game.
Just roll right over them. The numbers this year on Alan Webster. That's Webster and Ruby De La Rosa coming over from the Red Sox in the offseason and the Wade Miley deal. Ruby starts tomorrow against former Diamondbacks great Mike Bolsinger. Yes, he went. Brandon Orr rings him up.
Working away at that outside corner of the plate. All 4 pitches right out there, either on or just off of the corner.
What you're looking for from Allen. Corey Seager, the shortstop, has singled and walked twice. Well, this young man has had a good night. Looks good defensively. He's done nothing but hit through his first now 8 major league games. He's hit safely in 7 of them, including 5 in a row. Boy, Alan Webster has got tremendous stuff. Every time we see Alan, he throws hard. He's that heavy sink. Everything moves. And you can see why Diamondbacks wanted Alan Webster. It's just a matter of putting it all together. As promised earlier in the ball game, it's the Data Strong fan photo. Tweet your strongest fan photo with the hashtag AZDataStrongFan. Alyssa with Josh Colminter here. You'll have your chance to have your photo featured in a Diamondback broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Webster, great location
On the at-bat to Van Slyke, but he walks Seager. Third walk tonight for Seager. And that's been the issue for Allen, just to get him some kind of command with all that movement he's got on his pitches. A.J. Ellis. Ellis 0 for 3. Hey, D-backs fans, time to introduce to you new Diet Pepsi. There it is, brand new Diet Pepsi, same crisp and refreshing flavor you love. Pick up some today at your local retailer. Aspartame?
Something like that.
He said, hopefully. I never did take chemistry. Anyway, there's none of it in there. That's what they're trying to tell you. If you're down on the aspartame, get new Diet Pepsi because it's all out, man. No more. Now available at your local retailer. Some of the chemicals in diet soda. That's good news for me because I drink about 12 of those a day. Well, I'm going through 2 or 3 Diet Pepsis a ball game here. 2-1. Hard to third. Look at that play. Brandon Drury. Wow. They have been very excited about this young man for a long time, mostly about the bat, but look at the glove down there at third.
The ball was almost behind him when he picked it, threw as he was getting to his feet, and another nice play at the other end by Goslin at second base to pick that short hop. Nicely done.
Terrific play by Brandon Drury, a D-back rookie. And he's only 23. Chris Heisey. Part of September we'll be getting a look at Brandon Drury, both at third base and at second. He even played some shortstop for Phil Nevin and Lino this year. 1-1 on Heisey. Left field corner, O'Brien. Won't get there, it drops in. That is just the Dodgers' third hit.
Right fielder Scott Schebler.
Brings up Scott Schebler. Schebler's a guy they like. He's got real power. Only 6 big league games. He's already got 2 homers. Drafted out of community college in Iowa in the 26th round. But the Dodgers stepped up. They gave him 6th round money just so he would pass on a commitment to Wichita State. He runs really well for a big guy. A whole bunch of natural power. Chops it at first. Jamie Romack made a terrific play, but then loses the handle. And the Dodgers have the bases loaded. Boy, Jamie with a pretty spin there, and just as he was trying to make the transfer, it dropped out of the glove.
Yeah, he made the hard part of the play, going to his right, snaring that awkward in-between hop. But then what should have been the easy part of the play, take the ball out of your glove and throw it to first. He just couldn't quite find the handle.
And they give him an error on the play, E3. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano walked in the third. He's 0 for 3. Tomahawks that one high in the air and foul. Have to keep that goose egg up there. Big Swing and a miss. Webster ahead 0-2. Diamondbacks 1-2-3 to open up this homestand against the Giants. And now a statement win in the making as they open up a 3-game weekend visit from LA. 2 outs, 0-2. Left center, long run for Inciarte. And it's gone. A grand slam, and it's 12-4. Justin Ruggiano. He's only played 6 games for LA. That's his 3rd home run as a Dodger. And it's another grand slam against the D-backs. We've seen a whole run of these lately.
Cement mixer slider just stayed on that inner part of the plate for Ruggiano. That's too bad.
Just the 4th hit for LA. Jose Peraza. Romack in foul ground. And that's the ball game. Well, the Dodgers made a little noise there in the 9th. Bottom line, the Diamondbacks blow them out here to open up this 3-game series, a 12-4 win. And hard to ask for a better start against a team that they've really had problems with as of late.
Good showing up and down the lineup from the offense tonight. Robbie Ray had to labor through his 5 innings, but gave up only 2 hits and 0s on the board. Nice going.
And the D-backs, who had lost 9 of the 12 meetings with the Dodgers this year, 31 of the last 41, open up this 3-game series with a 12-4 win. Joe Borowski standing by with Todd Walsh. Todd.
Steve, thank you very much. We're getting set for Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show. So you thought Chip Hale was going to go get Webster, didn't you?
No, unfortunate they gave up the 4 runs right there. Would love to see the shutout.
All right, I'm curious to get your take on Robbie Ray's performance tonight. We'll break it down and see if there is anything to the difficulty of pitching with such a big lead, but also we'll focus in certainly on the Diamondbacks offense, and I'm guessing, just guessing, that when we return and we start the show, we're going to go right down the field level because it was quite a night for young Peter O'Brien, who made his major league debut with a base hit and an RBI. How cool is that? So much to get to here on this Friday night from Chase Field. 12-4 the final. Diamondbacks